Sehtar. My name is Venkdesh. I'm an author and a therapist. Today we are looking into presentation skills, audience engagement. This is part 3 of the presentation skills series. And earlier we saw an introduction to presentation skills. What are the key factors to consider so your presentation is very effective, very influential. And we also saw in part 2 about the art of storytelling. So all presentations or stories in some way or the other. So if you could lean into this idea of how to tell a nice story, what's the narrative, then that will really help you go a long way in ensuring success in your presentations and in general most of your important communications and all sorts of conversations you have with a group. So when it comes to real success in presentations, it's about the connection. It's all about building up and sustaining the emotional connection with your audience. This is what we call as audience engagement. So how do you build audience engagement? How do you sustain this audience engagement? And what are the reasons for doing so? How it will help you to really enjoy your career, enjoy success in your career, and be seen as a very influential leader. Essentially, all leaders are storytellers. Every leader you take, be it a political leader, be it a business leader, be it someone who is leading a worldwide charity effort, any leader, profit or non-profit organizations, they are excellent, first-class storytellers. They know how to retain audience attention. They know how to build the relationship and touch the hearts and minds of their audience. So audience engagement is the key and plays a crucial role in building up and leveraging your presentation skills and how you can really sustain as a leader. So when it comes to audience engagement, one single word is emotion. Yes, rational thinking, facts and figures are important, but the glue that holds them together and the way you can actually deliver a compelling presentation is by touching upon emotion. Where there is lack of emotion, then it's like very, very raw and it can only stay in the mind for a short period of time and it will go away. And where there is lack of emotion, that means there is no way to actually engage the hearts and minds. It's more living in the head, and therefore it's all about logic, which is important, but that can only go for so long. It could be a short period of time and for a particular purpose, and then it will die away. So there is no way you can continue that relationship or the success and build upon that for a longer period of time. Well, it may be applicable in certain scenarios, but I'm assuming it's a very small percentage. A large percentage is always dependent upon how you can build long-term value. And long-term value creation can only come when you can truly understand and relate to the audience. So there are 3 things that you need to understand. What are your audience needs? What are the interests, or what is it that brings them to your presentation? And finally, what are the factors that they will consider? Meaning, what is the lens through which they will see your presentation? A large part, what is the point of view, the perspective of your audience? So these are the things that you will have to take into consideration when you want to deliver a presentation that has influence and impact, which will sustain for a long period of time. So one of the ways, like I said earlier, to bring in that is building in the rapport and having that emotional connection with the audience. And that comes directly from storytelling, because we as human beings, we are always captured, and from a very young age we grew up listening to stories, and therefore stories always really attract us. The best few words in one story can immediately trigger the hearts and minds and can pull them into your presentation and keep them engaged. And therefore what you can do is have a narrative ready, which will take into consideration the needs of the audience, which will take into consideration their interests, and also understand their point of view and tell the story in such a way that they can resonate with it, they can relate to it, they can understand it. Or else then there comes a distance, and where there is too much of a distance, there is no way you can have influence, and therefore the presentation ultimately fails. So the way to succeed in giving an excellent presentation is engaging the audience, and that comes from the way you can use power of words, vocabulary which will easily reach their minds, words that can actually go beyond the conscious mind, because you need to touch their subconscious mind. The only way success comes for presentations is how fast and how quickly and how deeply you can go and engage with the minds of your audience. So to touch the hearts and minds of your audience, the way you can do that is to understand some keywords that can immediately resonate with your audience. Understand words which are always positive, words that can easily convey meaning, words that can easily touch their hearts and minds and trigger the real thought process that you want, and work and engage and slowly nudge your way into working with their feelings. So the moment you can touch their hearts and minds, the moment you can work with their feelings, the moment you can navigate the way, that's how your presentation will land in their mind. So once you achieve that, once you're able to do that, then all you have to do is just continue, keep going with the same flow, and nudge and change the flow where needed, so that you have a form of dynamic storytelling. One of the examples you can do that, and one of the best ways you can do that, is to see what is the best way to figure out what benefit, what's the takeaway for the audience, and whoever can bring that benefit is the protagonist or playing the main role, and that main role can be played by one or more persons, and they will have to get the support and sponsorship and engagement and investment from somebody else in terms of time and effort and money or many other ways. And in doing so, they may have some challenges, they may have some obstacles, and together how they can actually work together to overcome obstacles, to turn adversity into adventure, to turn setbacks into comebacks. These are all compelling storylines, and you pick up such a storyline, see how they can go with the flow and go beyond the obstacles, how they ultimately seize the victory, the real ending comes, that's the climax. So maybe you can cover all of the aspects in one session, or maybe you want to split it into different episodes and see which ones come first and which ones come next and what comes last. So that's how you kind of build a storyline, and you weave in all the emotions into the storyline. Some of the things that as a human being we really quickly understand, and something that can resonate with anyone, is how to avoid pain, how to gain pleasure. So our mind is always kind of oscillating between pain and pleasure. Though these two are kind of the primary masters of emotions, there's something that will go beyond even them, like things like fear, things like envy and jealousy, things like power and greed, things like hatred. These are all things that can very quickly trigger feelings. So you'll have to be very sensitive in what words you're using. Things like love, things like joy, things like bliss, things like appreciation, things like gratitude, things like satisfaction, things like contentment, things like peace, things like harmony. These are all very positive words, and you can use them in a way that can easily bring in a positive change. So building upon the positive stuff is very, very important. Avoiding or moving beyond pain and negative stuff is also equally important. So depending on the presentation and the topic, you will have to figure out a storyline that can be very positive and be very nice and build upon their expectations and fulfill them in a way that they want. If you can do that, then your presentation is going to be a super hit, and you can be really very successful in your career, and you can be really on the path to enjoying fulfillment in your life. So wishing you all success in your career and happiness in your life. Go ahead, gear up for success and victory. Wishing you a very healthy, wealthy and a happy life. See you in another episode. If you like this video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up, share with your loved friends. family, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting and exciting content on how you can enjoy your life and career. See you in another episode. Wishing you all the very best.